not.
Orange? Who made the console orange?
Orange.
Look, orange. I didn't touch
Very
it.
similar to yellow, huh?
Hello, everybody.
Hi.
Oh my gosh, I am just such a huge fan of yours, and now here I am meeting you face to face.
Okay.
How can I help? I can
You can
notes,
start with the
get
name.
coffee, manage your calendar, walk your dog, carry your things, watch you sleep.
No, please.
Anything. Just call my name, and I'm here for you.
Okay,
Which
love
is?
that. And what was your name again?
Oh, I'm sorry. I can get ahead of myself. I'm anxiety.
Of
I'm
course.
one of-
So you see, this moment right here reflects how people-pleasing and impression management, when used as long-term coping mechanisms, can generate anxiety, as Riley constantly holds herself up to unrealistic expectations, whether those are internal or external. So anxiety really came as a byproduct of always trying to maintain happiness and perfection, and let this be a reminder for you too. Feeling anxiety doesn't mean there's something wrong with you. Most often it means that there's too much pressure you're putting on yourself, very simply put. Now, here's what's really interesting. Notice how anxiety says, "I'm such a huge fan of yours," which makes me think. Anxiety is a complex emotion. It didn't manifest out of the blue, and chances are it was dormant in Riley. That means it was able to observe how joy managed Riley's entire life, basically. And that means that anxiety has essentially learned from joy's overemphasis on keeping Riley happy and presenting a positive front, that in order to cope with life's challenges, Riley should avoid negative emotions by putting on a mask, by pretending. So in a way, Joy's leadership and insistence on happiness and positivity has inadvertently laid the groundwork for anxiety to step in, especially now that Riley is going through adolescence, where emotions are much more nuanced and harder to control.
Oh,
That's this little cutie.
I'm Envy.
It figures, of course.
Look at her hair.
Look at her hair.
Gosh, I love the red in your hair.
Okay, just look, but you don't touch, yeah?
I can join Team Redhead too. Yeah.
Oh, that's embarrassment,
Who's
right?
this guy?
What's your name, big fella?
That's
Oh,
embarrassing.
Sadness likes
He's
him,
not
of
really
course.
big. Oh, we're doing a fit now. Oh,
But
no,
just-
going high.
just-
Oh, you got a
Wow.
real sweaty palm there, buddy.
Just don't point it out now.
You wanna come with me, actually?
But we can't
Oh,
let
this
her
is the
know.
best
I
day for Riley.
Sounds good.
What
Oh.
emotion was that?
That's ennui.
Ennui. It's what you would call the boredom.
In French,
Come
of
on up
course.
here. Am I saying right?
No.
And what?
Ennui.
Oh, nicknames. I'm gonna call you Wee Wee.
No,
No.
exactly. The only
How are you
appropriate
driving?
response.
That every emotion is good for Riley.
You're right.
Even this turkey.
What do you mean even this turkey?
Oh, but what about our friend?
That's a good question.
That is our future. Okay, these next 3 days need to be about Bree and Grace.
Need to?
The next 3 days could determine the next 4 years of our lives.
Okay, yeah, that's a fair
I
point.
think that's overstating things a bit.
Oh la la. Joy is so old school.
Oh, shots
We
were
all have a
fired.
job to do. You make Riley happy. Sadness makes her sad. Fear
With
protects
you
her
so
from
far.
the scary stuff she
Yeah.
can see. And my job is to protect her from the scary stuff she can't see.
That's a
I
very
plan
good
for the
way of
future.
explaining
I
it,
can
yes.
show you. You're gonna love this.
Look how more complex she is. You see all of those buttons
Using
and...
that as a couple.
Yeah, there you go.
My team has run all the data, and we're looking at the following likely scenarios.
Okay.
First, we don't take this camp seriously, and we live off with Bree and Grace. And only the teachers know her name.
Wow.
You and I are gonna be friends.
I
It's a
bet you
sad
will.
story.
It's a ridiculous story.
No, it's not.
But silly. None of this will actually happen.
How do you
Grace,
know?
You're the boss.
Oh, we have our first disagreement already. Here's the hard thing about anxiety. She makes sense. Her points make sense, her reasoning makes sense, but it all comes from a hyper-vigilant standpoint, trying to protect us from possible future threats, but nevertheless, perceived threats, not real ones. However, anxiety is also constantly invalidated by joy as silly or overstating, and even then, anxiety tries to further explain her role and why she's more qualified to make the call in the moment, at least in her perspective. And the response to all of this very detailed explanation of what her role is was, it's a ridiculous story because none of this will ever happen. It's like a weather app warning of rain, but you ignoring, saying, the sky looks clear now. This lack of acknowledgement only worsens anxiety, creating a tension where she either has to take over completely or be ignored altogether, which is an impossible situation to be in, eh? So please understand, anxiety isn't bad or evil, she's just trying to reassure herself by preparing for all outcomes. What makes it bad is the invalidation, which highlights a common issue in how we often treat our own anxiety, thinking that positivity alone will override its logic. Wishful thinking, guys.
Time to celebrate! Say
Awooga!
Ladies, let's all settle in.
Okay. Girls,
Joy,
ladies,
settle in.
in means settle down.
Okay,
I
coach.
need your focus. Which means now I'm gonna need your cell phone.
Oh no, she's not gonna be very popular, is she?
Got that, Anderson?
Ooh, a direct call out.
Coach?
So serious.
Okay, it's time to stop.
Curious, maybe I could help.
Not now.
Yeah, you could really help. Oh God. Oh.
Oh, bravo, Joy. She's totally feeling him now.
Oh, thanks so much, Wee Wee.
This is a very common thing that children need to experience as part of growing up. Methods that before were efficient, like positivity, are not working anymore. Simply because the complexity of our situations and interactions increases with time. Therefore, we also need more complex tools to address them, to navigate them, basically. And there's another distinction worth mentioning here. Joy has learned to deal with sadness, an emotion that is primarily about release. It allows us to process and let go of past experiences, which is why validating sadness and giving it space helps to soothe it. Sadness serves the role of emotional catharsis, enabling us to grieve, reflect, and come to terms with things we cannot change in the end. It's about looking back, acknowledging loss or disappointment, and finding healing through acceptance. On the other hand, anxiety is future-focused. It's about anticipation and preparation for what might go wrong. While validation and giving space are essential for both emotions, of course, anxiety requires more active engagement, and that's why it seems like Riley is struggling again with accepting an emotion, because it works differently than anything she ever had to deal with so far. She doesn't know it yet, but the key to managing anxiety is not only to validate it, but to collaborate with it, giving it a structured way to address its concerns, creating realistic action steps without letting it spiral into endless worry.
That Michigan girl is off to a rough start.
Oh no.
Are they talking about us?
Yeah.
There's no way coach is putting her on the team if she can't get it together.
Guys,
Okay,
she's
Danny,
just
like,
young.
You had it all together when you were
Exactly, come on.
Wasn't that immature?
Ah, we all say that. We were. Oh, it's okay.
Oh, I got you, big guy.
Oh, it wasn't that lovely. Now, this is a massively important moment that I'm sure many of you still remember, when feeling joy was associated with being immature for the first time. I remember it because it's quite a punch in the gut, eh? The girls talking amongst each other reflect a common societal expectation that growing up means becoming more serious and controlled, often at the expense of joy and playfulness. But in reality, it just needs better structure. Riley's emotional journey, starting from the first movie, has been about realizing that joy can't always be in charge, and this shift is natural as well as needed.
Always wanted people to talk about us, but not like this.
That's a good
Joy,
point.
what do we do now?
She has an idea.
Just,
I have an idea.
Val? Oh, hey, Riley. What's up?
Oh, okay.
So sorry. I didn't mean to get the whole team skating lines. I feel terrible. I respect you so much. I would never do anything like this.
Speaking from the heart, you know, even if through anxiety.
You lead the team so
Yeah, Joy.
amazingly, and I really look up to you.
One sec.
Thanks. Listen, Coach was pretty hard on you today. But that's not a bad
Bonding.
thing. It means you're on her radar.
Hey. So for the first time ever, Joy has no ideas, no responses. And even though we saw her indecisive or taking some time to think before, this time it seems like she's completely lost. So anxiety takes over and unexpectedly saves the day. So in this scene, we see something very important that we don't talk about nearly enough. The value of anxiety. Anxiety shines in moments where planning and problem solving are needed. The key here is that Riley used anxiety in a healthy way by being honest about her feelings and owning up to her mistakes, not to cover herself, not to mask, not to pretend. Anxiety, when approached with honesty, allows us to confront our fears directly and work through them, creating deeper, more authentic relationships. So you see, anxiety is not something to be avoided, it's something we need to understand better, as it can guide us towards a more authentic self and therefore towards self-acceptance.
Those were the days.
These are still the days.
What was it?
We are still
You
there.
still have about